G'day guys, Call Sign Sticks here. Today we've got a very special guest, Kam Iqar Ze.
Hey guys.
He's just come along and we're just going to sort of have a bit of a chat about how we can sort of improve this sport that we love. Gel ball, can't say Gelsoft now, apparently there's a lawsuit or something going on. I've heard that the word Gelsoft's been, what's the word? Patented, yes, that's the one, yeah. So, Cam's just come on just to sort of have a chat and sort of give his view and, mate, just tell us a bit of a, for those of you who don't know you, just give us a bit of background on yourself
So I come from a skirmish background. I am very much like, I absolutely love skirmish. So I come from a paintball background. Not competitive, I'm a casual player by all means, not the best player, I just enjoy playing it. For me it was a healthy way of getting, I enjoy first person shooters. It was a healthy way of me to get exercise and be able to shoot people at the same time. So the problem is that paintball is quite expensive. So you have licensing, the markers are up to $6,000. The paintball fields may let you purchase paintballs at a cheaper rate if you're a member there. If not, every time I would go paintballing, essentially it would cost me over $200. Yeah. So I can't afford to obviously keep that up, and so I basically just went on to different hobbies to ones that I could afford. Yeah. And then gel blasters came out, and I always wanted, I'd always seen overseas airsoft videos and stuff, and I'd always wanted something like that. And obviously with the Howard laws from '96 and stuff like that, and it's obviously taken the firearms community themselves quite a long time to try and repair stuff that's a little bit broken and wrapped in too much red tape. I was browsing Facebook one day, and obviously I like a lot of military movies and stuff, so Facebook targeted adding, and I came across Cosplay Charlie, and I don't even know if he's still open, but it was a Glock 18 manual, it was a hopper fed automatic Glock 18 with electric blowback. Right. It had an extended magazine, but the magazine was the battery. Yep. And I thought, there's no way that's legal, come on, are you serious? He said, no, I'm based in Sydney. And I'm like, all right, okay, I'll buy it. And then 2 weeks later, it was on my door, and I went and I shot my brother with it, and he thought it was cool too. And then the next thing I saw, I was going through their website, and I saw that they had the Terminators, and the Terminator V2 had just come out, and everyone was raving about the Terminator V2. If you ask anybody about the Terminator V2 now, they'll vomit. But yeah, the Terminator V2 had just come out, and it was like one of the first mag-fed rifles, and everyone was just going nuts over them. I thought, no, there's no way. And then I looked into it, and sure enough, it was legal. And then, the big case happened with Peter Clark and Tack Edge, and it was a very, is this gonna stay legal? Are we gonna get to play this? And stuff like that. And I think I don't know if I've got the timeline completely correct, but I know that Donnybrook opened, and then Nuketown opened after that down towards the Gold Coast. So you had 2 fields, very separate ends of Brisbane. Yeah. And I'm not sure when sort of the lawsuit happened in that, but after the lawsuit was resolved and Peter Clark won that case, there was a huge boom in the industry after that, and fields started popping up, players started popping up, all this new gear started coming into the country, and it just went absolutely insane. Yeah,
and it's even still today, it's obviously growing at an exponential rate, I guess.
Definitely. The last 12 months has been absolutely huge, and it's weird because I say that every 12 months. It's just watch the industry grow is amazing, because I remember one of my first games, there was 60 people there, and now there's so many fields. If you think there were 60 people there was probably 60 people at the other field, 120 people playing on one day. Now you look at the fact that there's 10, 11 fields, and they're all running at full capacity. Yeah. The amount of players that are playing on a daily basis is just absolutely huge. Yeah. And then plus the sales as well on blasters alone.
The tech side of it too, you get people who just want to buy blasters just to tech them out and stuff like that. Not even necessarily go to a game day, but they just love the fact that they've got something they can invest their time, and they're learning something too.
And the beautiful thing is that they can continue to do that as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been concerned that they can't continue to do that under the new regulations that were drafted through Parliament, and they're expected to be enacted February 2021. But
so let's touch on that a bit more. So obviously you went to the QPS meeting this week to discuss some of those new changes in the regulation. What was your take on what came out of that meeting?
So I'm going to do a full comprehensive video. I have quite detailed minutes on what was said, and everything that was really important and really pertinent to us got written down. I can give you a basic rundown really quickly. And
we'll leave a link to that video too, guys. Just quickly as well.
That video, I'll probably film the video, but I won't actually post the video until after QPS update their website with their information, because I'd like to refer people straight to QPS's information.
100%. Yep.
Always get it straight from the horse's mouth. So essentially, nothing is really changing for the jailball community. So now some people were a little bit wary because Weapons Licensing Branch said, look, you are now being recognised as a legitimate community, you are a legitimate platform. You are now recognised by us alongside military reenactors, replica collectors, among other things. So a lot of people, they're quite mad that they've taken the toy exemption out of the replica legislation. To me, I see a bonus in this is that a lot of guys, it's a loophole that criminals can exploit, because I could go into, not that I would, but I could go into a store, I could purchase a Glock, I could paint it up, make it look real, walk into a 7-Eleven and say, give me all your money, and walk out. And then when I get arrested for it, and then I'm in court, and they go, oh yeah, it was a replica weapon, we're doing it with firearms charges, it was armed robbery, rah. And my lawyer goes, oh, but hold on, the legislation states that this is a toy. You can't charge my client with that. And so essentially it allows the prosecutors to be able to go, no, this is a firearms charge. And so when there's a lot of talk about what this reasonable excuse business is, and they gave 2 examples. One of them was that you are a member of a club or an association, and 2 is that you are a member of a collectors association or a collectors type of club. And they were loose examples because I think the legal terminology around reasonable excuse is quite open. And QPS themselves, so Weapons Licensing Branch, we sat down with David Nixon and Tony Taktovich, and they basically stated anything is a reasonable excuse until it becomes unlawful and an unreasonable excuse.
So these changes essentially is to just try and deter the 1 or the 2% within the, I guess, our jailball community that do want to go out and do the wrong thing with these and jeopardise it for the rest of us. So this is probably a good thing.
Well, for the most part, it's not our community at all. It's a small amount of people who see these and they go, oh yeah, that's cool, I can make money robbing people with those. So they did give us some statistics, which I was really thrilled with, because I actually put in a Freedom of Information request to the Police Minister's Office recently around the statistics regarding gel blaster offences. And QPS confirmed for us on Monday that, that's Monday the 24th of August 2020, that gel blaster incidents, reports of gel blaster incidences have reduced by 41%.
That's awesome.
So they're now averaging 2 a month, which is actually fantastic. The majority of offenders are males who are 18 or under. So, go figure. So the public education programs are working. The government is aware of that. The police are aware of that. A lot of police play, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure where. I can understand mistrust of the government. Like we have a prime minister that we didn't vote for, who took over for a prime minister that we never voted for. So I can understand the mistrust around government and government policies. Tasmania at the moment is a mess, but I don't know a great deal about that, so I won't go into it. But this is Queensland, so. At no point are we required. We do not have to be a member of an association or a club.
Yep.
Even if we did join an association or a club, I mean that is a reasonable excuse.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. That is a reasonable excuse to acquire and own a gel blaster. If I was to join a club, it wouldn't even have to be a proper incorporated, associated, or formally recognised club.
Right.
So Phoenix Company could be a club.
Yep.
And that's good enough.
Yeah.
If a police officer pulls you over and you've got gel blasters in the boot, what do you got gel blasters for? I like gel blasters. Strangely enough, reasonable excuse.
Yeah.
Although, if you have a police officer pulling you over and he wants to have a look through your car, there's a potential that you may not have a reasonable excuse, depending on police don't just pull you over and search you for no reason.
But again, most reasonable, I guess, or responsible people wouldn't just be carrying them around. You'd usually be going to or from a game, or any of those areas where there is a reasonable excuse to have that in your vehicle.
Well, that's just it. I mean, you're even like even if you're playing in your backyard, as long as you inform your neighbours that, look, we have gel blasters, we're playing with them in the backyard with the kids. Don't freak out if you see them. That's you've done your you have done your due diligence, and you've informed your neighbours that they're not looking at real firearms.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not going to point a real firearm at my child. There's, I mean.
I don't have any kids, so I can't comment on that.
I know some parents may feel like they want to do that, but no. So that's there's a lot of things. There's essentially with all of these changes, nothing has changed for us as a community whatsoever.
Yeah.
There's a few people who still mistrust certain things, and they are wary of changes that are coming. However, the information that I have received on a consistent basis through the government and through QPS, sometimes yes, it's ambiguous and they can't give us straight answers. Sometimes they give us the political answer, thanks for your support, rah rah rah, can't tell you anything but love your work, give us a vote. You get a bit of that, but at the same time, I have personally, I've never been given any information from any department that has been misleading or has turned around to basically bite us in the arse.
Yeah.
So there's no lists of people who own gel blasters. There's no requirement for you to have a gun safe. So if people could please stop saying that, God, that would stop me from dying of an early age. Police are not going to be inspecting people's houses for their storage.
Yeah.
Your house is a lockable container. If they are stored, locked in your house, that is appropriate storage.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you have children in your house and they are aware that you have these restricted items, because they are restricted items, then you need to educate your children on those. And worst case scenario, you need to have them locked away where your children cannot access them. So you are in control, you are in possession of your gel blaster in your house, to the point where if you invite someone into your home and you go, all my gel blasters are in there, and then that person steals them and nicks off with them, you potentially in some hot water there, because you have control over who has access, you have control over who has knowledge of your gel blasters, things like that. Whereas if someone breaks into your house and steals them, you are not going to be seeing any trouble based on that, because you've gone through all of the appropriate measures. They were locked away. The person has acquired those gel blasters under an unreasonable and unlawful excuse.
Yeah.
So the legit is really zero change to us. All there really has been a couple of really good suggestions for public education.
Yeah.
So they have encouraged all local fields to contact their local police stations. They've encouraged all retailers to contact their local police stations, get involved, build a relationship with QPS, because the shooters unions have it. The reenactment guys all have it.
Yeah.
And the better communication and the better relationship that we have with the Queensland Police Service and with whoever happens to be in government at the time, the better off we are when it comes to negotiating things. So say if you look at Christchurch, after the shooting in Christchurch, the massacre, the airsofters over there straight away went to the government and said, what can we do?
Yeah. They
have a great relationship with the government. They said, we want to help. We understand that our community may be now come under attack because people may fear what we have and what we appear to have. and essentially they made all of the right moves, they did all of the right things, they spoke to the right people, and Airsoft is still going strong in New Zealand.
And that's awesome. I think even like us as content creators too, like we play quite a big role as well in that education and you know, sort of getting that information out to the wider community. You know, obviously Queensland's quite a large area, and there might be people in areas where there's no fields and things like that, but they, you know, own gel blasters and blah blah blah. So I think even the more that we can do as, you know, content creators and that sort of thing can really help sort of, you know, again, build those, like we said, build those relationships within the government, and you know, and that's, I think it's a really positive thing for our community and sport that we love.
Yeah, 100%, because it legitimises us too. So no longer are we this fringe group of people who, we're not like that group of freaks in the corner that plays with toy guns. We're now a legitimate community who's been recognised by certain levels of government moving forward, and they have specifically told us we would like to build and continue a relationship with you guys, because we know you're not going anywhere. We don't intend for you to go anywhere, but we would like this to work harmoniously as possible. Obviously, we might do things they don't like, they might do things we don't like, but that's what the communication is about.
Speaking of being harmonious, I guess that also comes down to probably the next sort of thing I want to try and touch on a little bit is the harmony within, like, just within our sport as well. Obviously there's been quite a lot of, I'm going to use the word tension between certain individuals and certain retailers, and not naming names, that's not what we're here to do.
You could be talking about anyone at this point.
But what do you, like, for me, every time I see something, say on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, and you know, it's people having a dig or doing whatever, like, obviously quite a lot of people in the sport will know your early history.
Some people don't know about my first videos. Most of my first, I'm happy to go into that. Most of my first videos were all just piss takes.
But would you agree though that obviously now having the knowledge that you have, and sort of like, I'm actually quite inspired by you, like you kind of recognised your, like, what damage that actually was kind of doing, and you wanted to I think your change came about to make it a bit more positive, I guess. Because
I really enjoyed doing piss takes. Like, I was going through a really hard time in my life when I started to make videos. Like, I was going through a really, really tough time, and I've got like the sad clown syndrome. Like, when I wake up and I go, fuck, can I just eat a bullet already? That's when I'm going to come out with my best comedy material. So I was going through a really, really rough patch, and I started to impersonate people. Some of them were way off, some of them were way on, and I was taking the piss. And there actually began a rivalry between myself and a certain retailer who I don't need to name. But yeah, it got to a point where it was actually really, really toxic. And I made a name for myself being a toxic person, attacking people, and I had to stop and take a look at what I was doing, because like, am I helping this community to grow? Because I can't, like, on one hand say I care about the players, because that's originally how it all started. I care about players, and I think that you're doing the wrong thing by the players, and then so I'm going to attack you over that. Whereas it got too far, and it was beyond me calling out the behaviour, and it became me attacking the person directly. And so I had to learn a hard lesson about what's appropriate for that. Like, if someone fucks up, like, say so, but you don't have to call them a piece of shit in the process. And so I sort of stopped, and I had a bit of a conscience crisis, and I kind of went, you know what, I would rather be constructive to this community. The community's growing, it's not going anywhere, the pie's getting bigger, people aren't necessarily competing for customers. The fact is that the industry's growing, and everyone still has customers, and there's more customers coming in every day.
Exactly.
And so I think I'm more inclined to want to be constructive in this community because I love this community and I don't want to feed it with toxicity and have all of this hatred bouncing around. Like, yeah, that stuff can be funny to some people, and the what I find sad is that, like, when I stopped doing all that toxic stuff, my viewership dropped.
Yeah,
because everyone loves a good piss take, but
But again, it's all about sort of, you know, again, like I said, there's a line and there's a balance, and you know, I agree with you 100%. I don't stand for, you know, the behaviour of some either players, retailers, whoever. I don't care who it is, and I'm more than happy to, you know, say my piece, but I also only want to do that if it's going to positively affect the community and help those, you know, like my biggest thing is, you know, I'm still pretty new into this sport, right? You see it on Facebook all the time, right? Guys coming in, joining all these pages going, hey, want to purchase my first blaster, blah, 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 and like, just, they're kind of a bit naive to that, and you see a lot of people just constantly sort of going, don't go to this retailer for this reason, don't go to this retailer for this reason, don't play at this field for blah blah blah. And I just think that, you know, I have the mindset, and just not even in the sport but just in everyday life, like, why can't we all just get along? And I understand that obviously there's going to be personality clashes and that sort of thing, but it's not hard to have a bit of a mutual, like, sure, you may not get along with that person, but don't, like, don't stoke the fire, so to speak. You know?
There's a difference between, because I certainly do, like, there is, like, because you mentioned controversy earlier, and the latest controversy that pops into my mind is an old regular that used to play Donnybrook quite a bit, who I've got just a massive amount of respect for. I'm sure people know what I'm talking about, so if you're okay with it, I'll discuss it without naming them. So he has been currently threatened with legal action because he did a piss take video. It was nowhere near as toxic as my old stuff. He did a piss take video about a certain product, a certain product of theirs. And then he did a completely honest review where he took the product and he tore it down, and he went, how can you sell this and call it this and sell it at this price and mislead your customers, and talking about warranty policies, which is something that I'm also hugely passionate about. Like, you know, because there is a threshold in the ACCC. Once you spend a certain amount of money, there is a legal expectation on that retailer to do something about it. And I know that some people kind of back the retailers and go, oh yeah, but it's the manufacturer's fault. Well, that's fine, but the manufacturer passes it on to the retailer accepts that risk. If they have a problem, they get a return. They need to fix their customers up, and then they need to take their complaint up with the manufacturer. I'm not skipping the middleman who sold it to me. I am, to be fair, there's no other industry that I know of that, well, apart from Microsoft, but we're not dealing with software. We're not dealing with PlayStation games here where they sell us a half-broken product and then sell us patches later. We're dealing with manufacturers who are sending half-assed products to us, and basically customers are paying to do the R&D for the manufacturer.
And paying top dollar.
Exactly. And then but not only that, we're dealing with retailers who have crappy warranty and return policies on that stuff. And so we come back and go, it doesn't work. They provide the manufacturer with the feedback going, this doesn't work. But are they fixing the problem for their customer is the question. And I think to say, oh, once you've opened the box, you've voided your warranty, I think it's a bit shitty. So I think that's definitely it's dodgy.
And especially you look at, like, you know, again, sort of using me as a bit of an example. When I first got into the jobble scene, didn't have a lot of money. That could be someone's weeks and weeks and weeks or months even, potentially, a young kid, months worth of pocket money or whatever that they've saved up, for them to get a blaster that as soon as you open the box and it doesn't work and you go to take it back, mum and dad are probably already a bit upset that he's got it, but, you know, it's even go back and then the retailer go, look, sorry, you voided your warranty, or, you know, it's just, I don't know, it doesn't sit well for me.
The warranty policy doesn't sit well with me across the entire industry. Now, I haven't actually seen it, but Cam Follett made me aware. So my channel is sponsored by Ozgel. So this isn't necessarily a plug, but he did make me aware that Ozgel have changed their warranty policy, which I haven't read, so I can't really go into. But I have a problem with the whole 30-day warranty on all blasters. Like, that kind of really annoys me, especially because there's companies that are selling blasters for like $1,000.
Yep.
I buy a washing machine for $600 and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Like, I expect that amount of money that I have spent to go in there, and the warranty policy is kind of across the board. However, how each retailer deals with it is obviously quite different.
Yeah.
So I know that I can walk into certain retailers and go, "Hey man, I've got this problem," and they'll go, "Let's help you out."
Yeah.
And then I can go to other retailers and they'll go, "We don't care. What do you want us to do about it?"
Yeah.
So I think, obviously, there's going to be a lot of hatred in the community based on people's personal experiences.
Yeah.
And I think that when people generally ask questions like that online, and I'm actually paying attention, because there's so much that happens online, and I don't want to be, I'm a busy guy, but I'm busy, so I don't read everything on Facebook. I don't follow everything that's happening.
You've got a life outside of...
Well, I actually don't. I'm too busy filming and editing to actually like read everything that goes on in the internet. That's why I'm not fully up on a couple of the latest scandals. Like when you mentioned the lawsuit around the thing, I was like, I did hear about that, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I only know from that particular video, but again...
video? I'm going to have a look.
Yeah.
I might have a look.
I'll
maybe you can show me later.
I'll show you, yeah.
But yeah, so like I think that when I see a question and someone's like, "Oh, you know, who do you recommend?" I go, "This is who I recommend." I don't necessarily go, "This is stay away from."
Yeah.
Unless someone says, "I'm thinking of going to these people, what do you think?" And I will go, "Well, look, what I can tell you is that from my observation, the warranty policy sucks. You're basically getting no warranty policy. The product that you're talking about isn't what it's cracked up to be."
Yeah.
And there's a loophole. So there's a certain company, and you know, look, by all means, guys, send me a cease and desist. Who are selling a product. It rhymes with Back Boys, and the initials are TT. So they're selling, I don't know, they reckon they're up to like Gen 50 of the 3DG, and it's got this feeding issue, and the fact that so many people have had to go to Lo Guido's channel, who's a third party, he's not even Tactoys, to find out how to make this blaster work. Utterly ridiculous.
I think the fact that they're even, like, they're aware of the issue and they're still selling that product.
And there's a loophole in ACCC law as well. So I'm planning on doing a video on ACCC stuff, but I think Cam Follett, Gelsoft Warrior, or I think he's just calling himself Beard and Blaster Club now.
Blaster Club.
He does have a fantastic beard, doesn't he?
I can't do it.
He's it's just so it's luscious,
Yeah.
it's thick, it's just...
I'm still Babyface. Like this is 4 weeks worth of growth for me. So
Yeah. You're only young though. You'll get there. I'm older than I look, I should say.
Yeah, I'm older than I look.
I feel a lot older than
that could just be a whole video.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it all started when I was 5. But if they have a product and if you walk into a store and they go, "Here, you know, yes, we'll sell you this product. We need to make you aware that there's a slight issue with it, and if you do this, so like, oh yeah, there's a small lip on it, and if you take a Stanley knife and, you know, do that, completely fixed." What's happened right then in legalese is they have told you verbally this is a faulty product.
Yeah.
Therefore, if you accept the sale of this product, you void any warranty that may come with that product whatsoever.
Yeah.
So when you can't fix it and you bring it back in and they tell you to get out, or they tell you we can't help you, you bought a faulty product, potentially you don't have a case at all because they told you explicitly at the point of sale that this is a faulty product. Therefore, you accept that there's no warranty that comes with that. So which I think is quite sneaky. But yeah, like I think that those guys set the expectation for the new customer. You know, is this how I'm going to be treated? When I walk into a blaster store, or even at the fields, is this how I'm going to be treated when I go to a field? Is this how other players are going to treat me? Which is why when I was reffing in Donnybrook, I used to always say, like, the regular players, you guys set the example for the new player. If you want because you walk into anywhere new, any new situation, new job, new uni, school, whatever, and you look around and you look to the people who are already established and you go, okay, how do I behave in this situation? So if you act like an asshole, they're going to turn into assholes because that's how you're supposed to act. So
or they're going to get turned off.
That's it. Either turned off or they're going to just become crap players. And it's like if you want the newbies to become good, relaxed, friendly, sportsman-like players, act that way yourself because they will take from your example.
Exactly. And I sort of agree with your point too about, you know, like when I went to buy my first blaster, I went and bought it from a certain retailer and I got that really good customer service. They spent time getting to know me, getting to know what I wanted to do while I was getting into it, what my budget was, you know, and they really took the time to sit down. That started my, you know, the positivity, I guess, kind of helped me, you know, and I've consistently gone back to that same retailer as well to, you know, purchase extra products and, you know, and every time I go back there, it's the same thing all the time. It's always that good customer service. And then that translates to me when I go on the field because I'm like, man, I've got this awesome blaster that I've spent my money on. It's really, really good. It does what I want it to do. You know, so, and it's that sort of, like I said, we've spoken about it before, it's that cascade effect of, you know, just trying to bring out the community. And, you know, like I said, for any sort of new players and stuff, like I said, do your research. And just ask people. Like my biggest thing is, you know, I say to anybody, you got any questions? Feel free to DM me. You're even the same. Like even just like, you know, when you and me sort of started first, you know, messaging sort of back and forth and that sort of thing. Like, you know, you're more than willing to answer questions and do that sort of thing. And that's what I think this community sort of needs a bit more of, is just those guys who've been in it a while, just to start mentoring and, like I said, being that example for those new players coming into the sport. So
exactly. Like if you've been in this sport for a while and you have noobs come to you for questions and you just roll your eyes and go, oh no, you're just a noob, you're just an asshole.
Agreed.
I get questions all the time, hey man, I'm really, really sorry to bother you. I'm like, you're not bothering me, bro. Like it's a message. It's not like you're calling me while I'm in the middle of something. You send me a message, I'll look at it when I'm free. Yeah, man, I'll answer any question you got. Like, obviously within reason. If it's like a really odd question to do with like farm animals and stuff, like it's probably not something I can answer. But if it's to do with something that I know about, I love gel ball. Like almost everything that I do, like, I'm doing a bit of work outside of the industry at the moment just to keep my sanity around it, because if I do nothing but gel ball, it drives me nuts. But I'm also still doing stuff inside the industry plus all my content, so I love it. I love to talk about it. Like this interview here, we could be here until God tomorrow and it'd still be going, because like I love to talk about it. There's so much to talk about. I'm more than happy to field any questions from any player who ever comes to me about anything. And this is coming from someone who used to work at a field. You get 10-year-olds coming up just asking them like the craziest stuff, like when's the next game, and they do it after every game, and you just like really starts to like get on your nerves and stuff like that. But now,
especially when you've got other stuff going on too.
When you're busy, But look, if it's a message in my inbox, I don't have to get to it straight away. I can look at it when I'm free. You don't have to feel bad about messaging me at all. Like, you just fling me a message. Like, I had another guy, how do I get in on this? I said, hit me up on Facebook. I've been talking to him for the last couple of days now as well. So, like, I think that there's not enough content out there in the gel ball world, and I think that more content is what's needed. I look at the airsoft industry, there's a lot of gameplay footage. Everyone has gameplay footage, which is great. There's not enough field reviews, there's not enough blaster reviews, there's not enough stuff like this talking about, you know, the community and the community attitude and how the community conducts itself. There's nowhere near enough of that stuff, at least for my liking anyway, which is why I just do it. You know, I'm out there with doing stuff with Luke Farrow for Barrel Talks, doing stuff with Tractors Podcast.
I'd love to get on those.
Yeah, actually, oh man, Luke is actually really cool. I'll put you in contact with him actually, because he knows a couple of the Phoenix boys, I think. So yeah.
Actually, they I saw a podcast with Luke and Cormac and Tractor.
Yeah,
the one that they did after the tournament in Milsom, and they actually gave us a really, really good rap. And so, you know, our whole team was so stoked with that. So, and again, you know, that's what we sort of come back to is that's more the stuff that this community needs.
Yeah.
Now, a couple of last quick things.
Yep.
5 years time, where do you see this sport?
So look, we've got SSA, so Speedsoft Australia. I know there's some controversy around that at the moment with some certain people, but I'm not going to go into that because I'm just going to go with what I've observed personally.
Yep.
So SpeedQB is an internationally recognised sport,
Yep.
internationally recognised platform with internationally recognised rules. Obviously, every country, continent is going to treat them slightly differently. Yep. Obviously, we're using gel, whereas overseas they're using Airsoft.
Yep.
This is a legitimate sporting platform. It doesn't just legitimise us locally; it legitimises us internationally.
Yeah.
I know that Ozgel are selling it overseas as well.
Yeah.
A lot of guys who are in airsoft communities are sick of playing airsoft indoors. They want gel because they're sick of kneeling on BBs around corners.
Yeah.
They're sick of getting hit with BBs at close range. They think that gel ball is a really great alternative to that.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool.
Yeah. For sure.
Because if they're wanting that, surely there's more appeal to what we're doing.
Yeah.
And they like our content too.
Yeah.
That's like I said. Like I've got a couple of guys from overseas who subscribe to my channel.
Yeah.
And because they like to watch the gel kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I do a lot of indoor stuff as well.
Of course. Yeah.
So I think in 5 years we're looking at like some really good quality stuff. We're looking at the higher brands. Like if you look at Aussie Hobbies, who are working with Modify to change, they're doing airsoft conversion to gel ball before it enters the country, so it's all legal, it's all above board, and they're bringing out some really fantastic products. Granted, the prices are still high, but that's just the state of the Australian market. It's just how it's going to work. But
until it's a bit more normalised, I guess.
Exactly. Until we get a little bit more, that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but the quality's stepping up, everything's stepping up. I think that SSA are going to be very sort of well established. There are going to be more leagues that are well established. There's going to be more fields. This just continues to grow. Unfortunately, there's a few retailers and fields who just seem to think that they only want their piece of the pie, and don't you touch my piece of the pie, instead of realising that the pie is growing. And everyone can get a piece of it. There's more players, there's more content, there's more fields, there's more products coming out, and I think there's also a potential for airsoft in the future, provided that we can, as we were talking about before, with those relationships with the government and with QPS, and now being a legitimate platform in the eyes of the government as well. I think that there's a chance that if we go, hey, we can work really well within this framework, and this framework works, we're doing public education, we're doing this, we're doing that. Let's put in a bill and say, what do you think about airsoft? Because in the UK they said we'll never have airsoft, we'll never legalise it.
And look at it now. Yeah, it's massive.
New Zealand will never have airsoft, we'll never legalise it. Now it's legal. And they were untouched by Christchurch. So I think moving forward, there's some very exciting things on the horizon for our sport.
I agree. So, no, awesome, mate. Thank you so much for or letting me come to your studio. We're in Cam's lovely studio here with his swords and his pictures, and thank you so much for having me out. And
actually, let me show off this sword. I never get to show off this sword.
You've seen it first.
It's stained ferrous, so it's red. It's like blood
awesome.
red ferrous. Yeah, so that's actually Damascus steel. So it's a live blade sword. Don't touch it. If you touch the steel, because it's a live blade, it's not stainless. If you touch it, the oil on your hands will actually damage the blade.
I won't touch it then.
But yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Dangerous, like this is a real sword. Like this, you'll cut someone's head off with it. But yeah, I never get to show off my sword. I love this thing, and I deliberately bought it because my office at the time had the red.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's got to be red. It's got to be black and red. So yeah, for sure.
No. Well, mate, thank you so much for having us out.
Anytime, man. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, no, all good. And guys, go and check Cam's channel out. Awesome content. Like you said, reviews, gameplays, everything. Feel free to hit either of us up on Instagram, Facebook.
Yep.
Leave a comment. Just let us know what you guys think, and if you ever want to come out and have a game. What's your normal field?
My preferred field at the moment is Urban Gelball. They're at Forest Glen, which they're about an hour north of the North Lakes area. Worth the drive. I'm also a big fan of Rapid Vantage out of Strathpine.
Yeah.
Small, fast, intense. I wouldn't recommend it for the kids, but for the adults who like the really intense CQB kind of stuff, that's definitely the place to go.
For sure.
I haven't been doing a lot of outdoor lately, just because of everyone knows I've got a history of back and pelvic problems, so flat ground sort of suits me better. Hardcore Blasters at Ipswich is actually awesome too. Really fast indoor. It's not necessarily CQB, it's more of a small indoor field, so it's open in the middle and it's CQB around the edges, and it's just insane.
Yeah, I've seen a few photos and stuff, but we'll have to hit a game up.
Yeah, definitely, man. We'll definitely get a game in.
Alright guys, like I said, hit us up on Instagram, and thanks very much. We'll see you all next time.
Guys.